Hey, welcome to Broken World Entertainment. So Brendan Fraser's comeback to the silver screen is problematic. Oh yes. Rolling Stone film critic warns against seeing The Whale because it reinforces the notion that fat people have brought their suffering upon themselves through lack of coping skills. Oh dear. So according to Rolling Stone's film critic Katie Rife, I believe that's how you pronounce her second name, audiences of all body shapes and sizes should avoid seeing Brendan Fraser's return to the silver screen, The Whale, because it reinforces the notion that fat people are objects of pity who have brought their suffering upon themselves through lack of coping skills. Oh yes. Oh yes. So the film itself, The Whale, follows the struggles of Charlie, played by Brendan Fraser, a 600-pound man who, after years of suffering himself inside and shutting himself inside and binge eating to cope with his guilt over leaving his family for his late mistress, attempts to turn his life around, starting by reconnecting with his now 17-year-old daughter, Ellie Sadie Sink, who is from Stranger Things. So, this thing was shown at a festival somewhere. I don't know whether it was Italy or not Venice now, but this other thing, Primo Cinema Sarah, wherever that's held. It was like an award ceremony, and it was received really, really well. He even got like a 10-minute standing ovation, which brought him to tears. But now, of course, the critics are kind of going, no, you can't see this because fat people, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, this is really strange because they've really blacklisted Brendan Fraser. And why? They blacklisted him because he was one of the first and only male actors to come forward and accuse producers of doing things to him, or at least trying to do things to him. And rather than, help him, they blacklisted him. And now here comes back, he's coming back, and now they're saying, no, you can't go see this. So here's this dumb Bince Twitter rant. So she says, I can't recommend in good conscience that fat people watch The Whale. I love as well that she doesn't say obese people or something. She just goes straight, fat people. I can't recommend that skinny people watch it either, since it reinforces the notion that fat people are objects of pity who have brought their suffering upon themselves through lack of coping skills. Massive red flags for EDs, eating disorders, I believe, and fat phobia. The main character endures over an hour of the cruelest verbal abuse imaginable, and later tries to commit suicide by food. I have dealt with bulimia and binge eating disorder on and off for years and found it incredibly triggering. So here's someone who's just proving that they don't have coping skills. She's literally just said she finds it triggering, which means you don't have a coping skill then, if it triggers you. And she continues, you can tell that no actual fat peoples, okay, were involved in the production because of a major plot point where the protagonist is dying, but refuses to go to the hospital even though he has money to pay the bills. The movie treats this as a combination of selflessness and what? Yeah, that. Never considering the very obvious reason why a £650 person would avoid doctors. It's called medical fat phobia, you absolute pricks. Medical fat phobia. There's no such thing as medical fat phobia. What she's saying there, if you, she's saying a doctor won't help you because they're afraid of you because you're fat. Have you ever heard such nonsense? Has she clearly never seen the likes of those shows? My £600 life and my £1,000 life, where there's specific doctors who deal with obesity. She's so stupid. Please excuse the typos. I'm really feeling like shit after that viewing experience. There's a scene where the main character drops the key and can't pick it up, and people were laughing. So once again, she's reinforcing that she does not have the coping skills to watch something like this. And yes, Brendan Fraser is very good, and most of the humanity, sensitivity, sympathy in the movie comes from his performance. But then she's telling you, don't go and see the goddamn movie. But these people who are now criticising this movie because, oh, you're just taking the piss out of fat people and it's body shaming and blah blah blah, are the same people who praise Lizzo. And why is Lizzo popular? Lizzo has made a name for herself, spreading the message of self-love and body positivity. And they all call her empowering. This thing that is morbidly obese, wearing the most inappropriate thing you can imagine. And that goes even if she was skinny. The shit she puts on, you're like, God damn. You know, it's like, did they start making that dress and then stop? It's that too. Why is she empowering and spreading the message of body positivity, telling you it's healthy to be that way? It's not. It's absolutely not. There's no such thing as healthy fat people. It really is not. Your organs and everything are put under so much immense pressure. Never mind the diseases like diabetes and stuff that you can get. But it's funny that this movie that deals with the trauma of this person, what he goes through, that why he becomes obese, and then starts to try and work his way back. They're saying, you can't watch that, but Lizzo is empowering. Makes no sense. And then this dumb bint doing her article clearly is saying you can't watch it because you're saying they don't have coping skills. You've literally proven that you don't have coping skills because you've just said you feel like shit after seeing the film and it triggered you. Morons. One's empowering and one is offensive. Huh? Ridiculous. Anyway, I'll leave it there for this one. Cheers. Catch you in the next.